From creature to bizarre, unexplainable encounters, cameras have kept their streak of capturing the most terrifying things. So let's take a look at the eerie footage that left everyone in shock. The Rake, a creature straight out of nightmares. Some believe it's a legend, but then a video like this shows up. In Texas, near Lake Travis, a group of friends went camping in the woods. It was supposed to be a fun night, but their camera caught something no one expected. A strange, humanoid figure ran behind them, moving fast and low to the ground. The way it moved was enough to make anyone question their reality. Camping in the middle of nowhere already has its risks, but seeing something like this, that's a whole different level of terrifying. Creepy jungle crawler. For years, stories about skinwalkers have fascinated and unsettled people. Now, a strange sighting deep in the jungle has added to the mystery. A pale, thin figure was seen crawling through the trees, moving in an unusual way. Witnesses described its body as almost blue-white, with a shape that was truly terrifying. But what stood out the most was the way it moved. Its crawling didn't look natural. Some believe it could be connected to old legends, while others think it might be something else entirely. Whether fact or fiction, sightings like this always raise questions. Could there be more to these stories than we think? Vlogger's scary discovery. Vlogging can take you to some exciting places. Hidden spots, forgotten buildings, and sometimes places you probably shouldn't be. In 2014, a YouTuber filmed his visit to an abandoned house in Norway. The place was almost completely dark because of missing windows, but strangely, the electricity still worked. At first, everything seemed normal. He walked through the dusty, silent rooms, finding nothing but old furniture and decay. But then, everything changed. As he lifted his camera, he saw something terrifying. Someone or something was staring right at him. It was a moment no one would want to experience, proving that sometimes abandoned places aren't as empty as they seem. Crawling in daylight. Walking through the woods during the day feels safe, right? Sunlight pouring through the trees, birds chirping. It's not exactly a setting where you'd expect to see something out of a horror movie, but that's what happened in Australia when someone spotted something crawling on the ground. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't a person. It was a pale, white figure moving in a way that didn't seem normal. Its body blended strangely with the bright daylight, and the way it crawled, slow, deliberate, almost too smooth, made it even more disturbing. It didn't look lost. It looked like it belonged there. Whatever it was, it wasn't in a hurry to leave. Strange eyes in forest. The Amazon is home to all kinds of creatures, but sometimes people spot something that doesn't quite fit. Deep in the forest, a strange figure was seen sitting beneath the trees. Witnesses reported that its eyes glowed in the darkness, making the whole scene even more unsettling. It didn't run or hide. Instead, it stayed in place, shifting its body in a way that looked unnatural. The whole experience left people feeling uneasy, yet intrigued. There's no telling what secrets the Amazon still holds, and this might just be one of those mysterious moments nature throws our way. Nature always finds a way to surprise us, doesn't it? Thin and terrifying. There are some things you never expect to see in the woods, and this was one of them. A man was walking through the forest when he noticed something strange in the distance. At first, it looked like a shadow, but as he focused, he realized it was moving, slow and awkward, almost unnatural. The figure was thin, almost like a skeleton with skin stretched tightly over it. Even from far away, it gave off an eerie vibe. Thankfully, it didn't come for the guy, and he was saved. Raid gone wrong. Police raids usually mean catching criminals, not running into something straight out of a horror movie. Late at night, officers searched an abandoned building, expecting to find squatters. Instead, they found something much worse. As they moved through the dark, one officer's flashlight landed on something disturbing. A creature walking on the ceiling. Its body was twisted, its movements unnatural, and it didn't look human. Then, without warning, it moved toward them, fast. Panic set in immediately. The officers froze for a moment before scrambling back, their instincts telling them to run. But just as quickly as it appeared, the creature vanished into the darkness, leaving them shaken and questioning what they had just seen. Still and watching. A man wandered through a decaying, empty structure, carefully stepping over broken floors and debris. When he reached an old bathroom, he saw something that made his blood run cold. At the far end of the room, a human-like figure stood completely still. It didn't move, didn't make a sound. It just stared straight at him. The guy, who was in pure shock, dared to get closer, and there it was. A moment of relief, as it was nothing else but just a toy, placed there to scare him. But the real question is, who placed it there?
What the Oh, it's a f***ing toy.
Bridge Watcher.
Shine right where you were.
Ever had that feeling that something's watching you from a distance? Well, a man in Kentucky experienced just that one late night. He was driving home near the Appalachian Mountains when he spotted something strange near a bridge. Curious, he grabbed a flashlight and pointed it at the spot. That's when he saw it. Something was peeking out from under the bridge, eyes reflecting the light. It barely moved, just sat there in the shadows, watching. Some say it was a cryptid, others aren't so sure. But one thing's for sure, seeing something like that alone at night, not a great way to end the evening. Headlights revealed it. A guy was pulling into his driveway late at night when his headlights lit up something moving on the ground. For a second, he thought it was just some animal, but then he realized this thing was moving in a way that didn't make sense. It crawled fast, too fast, like it didn't have bones. His stomach dropped. It looked almost human, but not quite. Just as he tried to process what he was seeing, the creature suddenly took off, disappearing into the night. Ruins of Fear. Demons are the last thing anyone wants to see, especially when you're alone in an abandoned place. A guy was exploring an old, crumbling building, hoping to take some cool photos. Everything was fine, until he noticed something in the shadows. A dark figure slowly stepped toward him, its movements eerie and unnatural. He froze with his heart pounding. Then, it suddenly stopped and let out a terrifying roar. That was enough. Without looking back, he bolted out of there as fast as he could. Unusual night visitor. In the middle of a September night in 2021, a camera captured something chilling, a thin, humanoid figure crawling through the darkness. When the owner reviewed the footage, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The creature had pale skin, unnaturally long limbs, and an eerie, unsettling way of moving. It almost seemed to glide across the ground. Watching it left the owner with an uneasy feeling that wouldn't go away. Moments like this make you wonder, what else might be lurking out there, hidden just out of sight? Girl in Woods.
What do you want from me?
This person was wandering into the forest at night, but instead of hearing footsteps behind him, he spotted something in front of him, a girl standing completely still in the distance. Something was off. Her body was twisted in a creepy way, and when she moved, it was stiff and jerky, like a puppet with broken strings. The silence made it even creepier. The man didn't wait to see what she would do next. He turned around and left, deciding it was safer not to get any closer.
Why you keep following me?
Blurry rake footage. A man recorded something lurking in the darkness, a pale figure that was barely visible at first. It just sat there, completely still. But as the guy got closer, its eyes lit up, glowing in the dark like something out of a horror movie. That's when he realized this thing wasn't normal. Its body was pale, almost ghostly, and had an unsettling presence. Some say it looked like a rake. What do you think? Trail cam mystery. Trail cameras are great for spotting wildlife, but sometimes they capture things that leave people scratching their heads. One camera picked up something truly bizarre, a creature moving in a way that didn't seem natural. Its shape was almost human, but not quite. The way it walked was just spooky. It wasn't like any known animal, and people who saw the footage couldn't figure out what it was. Some thought it could be a legendary creature, while others were just plain creeped out. Ghost caught on film.
But I don't think that's right because I literally could hear it swooping.
Ghost stories never get old, do they? A blogger was filming at night while exploring a dense forest when his camera picked up something strange. In the background, a shadowy figure appeared. It almost looked like a ghost. The creepiest part? It seemed to be following him. He didn't notice it at the time, but when he later saw the footage, it creeped him out. It meant he spent the entire night with the creature around him and without having any idea.
I've heard that weird alien noise again. Do you remember last time?
Masked walker. A trail camera recently recorded a figure crawling out of the dense forest in the middle of the night. It was hard to say what it was. The figure moved oddly, with bent legs, and its face was hidden behind a strange mask. The way it moved didn't seem normal. The creep slowly came in the camera view, and moments after that, it made the video to end abruptly, leaving no clue of what happened next. Creeping through field. Driving at night, your headlights can reveal all sorts of things. Animals, lost objects, or sometimes something completely unexpected. A man was passing by a field when his headlights caught something crawling through the grass. It had pale yellow skin and moved in a way that didn't look normal. Some believe skinwalkers take on unnatural forms, lurking in places where no one should be, and this wasn't some illusion or camera glitch. Whatever was out there was real, and it was moving. Forest watcher. Have you ever felt like something's peeking at you from the trees? That's exactly what a trail camera captured one night. It was a pale, humanoid head that appeared in the distance. It moved slowly, almost unnaturally, creeping closer. Then, out of nowhere, it tilted its face downward and locked eyes with the camera. Just for a second, it seemed completely aware it was being watched, and then it vanished, leaving no trace of it to be found. Red eyes watching. Late at night, when the world is quiet, the last thing you want is an unexpected visitor. But that's exactly what one guy experienced when something strange showed up at his door. It started with a faint noise near the front door. At first, he thought it was just the wind, but then he heard something. Slow, deliberate movements. When he looked outside, he saw it. A tall figure stood in the shadows, its long limbs barely visible, but its eyes, bright red, glowing in the dark, staring straight at him. It didn't knock, didn't move, just watched. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it was gone. Vanished at camp. Sleeping in a tent is all fun and games until something starts trying to get inside. A camper woke up to the sound of someone, or something, messing with his tent. Panicked, he ran, leaving his flashlight behind. With only his camera's infrared mode for light, he kept recording as he fled. That's when he caught something terrifying. The figure outside his tent wasn't just lurking, it was standing right in front of him. And then, just like that, the footage was cut off. His tent, car, and belongings were later found, but he was gone. No one knows what really happened that night. Figure in tunnel. Sewers and tunnels are some of the last places you'd expect to see something unusual, but every now and then, people do. Drivers passing by a highway tunnel reported seeing something eerie. A pale, thin figure was peeking out from the darkness, its unnatural appearance making it hard to ignore. It didn't step out completely, but stayed just at the edge. Its ghostly white face and the way it lingered made the whole situation even more unsettling. Some think it might have been living inside the tunnel, hidden from the world. Whatever it was, it definitely made drivers question if they were seeing things. Dark figure in forest. Forests are full of life, but sometimes they hold things that stand out from the usual wildlife. Deep in a forest in Turkey, someone recorded something unusual. A dark figure sat motionless on the ground, its entire body pitch black, with glowing eyes that stood out in the dim light. It barely moved, only shifting slightly, while an eerie sound filled the air. The sight alone was unsettling, but the noise made it even more disturbing. It remained in place, blending into the shadows as if it belonged there. Whether it was an animal or something else, its presence left a lasting impression. Encounters like this remind us that nature is unpredictable, and not everything in the wild is easily explained. Crawling creature caught. Legends of strange creatures have been told for centuries, and sometimes reality feels just as eerie. Deep in a forest in Brazil, something unusual was spotted near a river. A strange figure slowly crawled out from behind a large rock, moving in a way that looked completely unnatural. Skinwalkers, as some legends call them, are creatures said to shapeshift into different animals or take on terrifying forms. Reports of these sightings have been around for a long time, with people claiming to have encountered them in forests and remote areas. The unsettling nature of this sighting only added to the mystery. Was this just another strange encounter in the long list of Skinwalker reports, or something entirely new? Huge figure in snow. A video showed a huge humanoid figure walking across deep snow. Its massive body and long, heavy arms made its movements look strange. The uneven ground only added to its unusual walk, grabbing everyone's attention. Once the video spread online, people immediately started talking about it. Some were sure it was a Sasquatch, one of the most well-known creatures in folklore. Others thought it was just a person struggling to move through the thick snow, making their walk look odd. No matter what it was, the footage got people interested and kept them watching. Shadow among the tombstones. In a quiet, lonely cemetery, someone spotted a figure moving through the darkness. It wasn't just the fact that it was there, it was the way it moved. It held two long, stick-like objects, using them to walk in a way that didn't seem normal. The figure's appearance was unsettling, almost unnatural. Those who saw it couldn't shake the strange feeling it left behind. Maybe it was just a person using walking sticks, but out there, in the middle of the night, it certainly didn't look that way. Mystery in the farmland. One evening, a farmer was finishing his work when he noticed something unusual in the distance. At first, he thought it was an animal, but as he focused, he realized it was something completely different. The figure stood motionless, its shape unlike anything he had seen before. Its movements were odd, almost unnatural. A strange feeling settled over him as he watched. It didn't seem dangerous, but it also didn't belong there. For a moment, everything felt off, like the fields weren't as empty as they seemed. Red eyes. One night, a man was looking out from onto his balcony for fresh air, As he looked around, something unusual caught his eye. In the branches of a nearby tree, two glowing red eyes stared at him. The figure was barely visible in the dark, but those unblinking eyes stood out. Strange things tend to happen when the world is cloaked in darkness, and many people have encountered things they can't explain. The night always has a way of hiding secrets, and sometimes we might not want to know what's watching us. Street cam mystery. This security footage revealed what eyes can deceive. A strange figure appeared in the middle of the street, moving in a way that felt off, like it wasn't meant to be there. The footage was grainy, making it hard to make out the details. But one thing was certain: whatever it was, it didn't belong. The way it moved, unnatural and strange, stood out against the quiet night, leaving people with one lingering question. What exactly was caught on camera that night? It's easy to brush things like this off, but honestly, if you were the one watching this footage, would you dare to go investigate? Or would you lock the doors, turn off the lights, and hope it stays far away from you? Crawling mystery. You know Gollum from The Lord of the Rings? That creepy, crawling creature with pale skin and an odd way of moving? Well, imagine something like that, but in real life. A trail camera in the woods once captured a figure crawling on all fours in broad daylight. Its thin frame, pale skin, and awkward movements made it look almost human, but something about it felt off. Some thought it was just a person in a weird position, while others blamed a camera glitch, but the way it moved was hard to ignore. Animal? Person? Something else? No one really knows, but this was definitely one of the weirdest things ever caught on camera. Glowing eyes mystery. Seeing glowing eyes in the dark is never a good sign. A trail camera in Australia captured something strange. At first, it just looked like small lights flickering behind a tree. But when the footage was zoomed in, it became clear those weren't lights. They were eyes, glowing and staring straight into the camera. The figure almost looked like a child in a costume, but something about it wasn't right. The glowing eyes didn't seem human, and its shape didn't match any known animal, because cameras catch all kinds of odd things in the wild. Some believe it's just an animal at the wrong angle, but every once in a while, something appears that makes you stop and wonder. Strange rooftop visitor. Hearing noises on your roof at night? Yeah, that's never a good sign. In 2011, a homeowner in the USA kept hearing something strange above his house. Finally, he grabbed a camera and decided to check it out. As he aimed his camera, he saw something staring right back at him. Two glowing eyes cutting through the darkness. The way it just stood there, completely still, made the whole situation even creepier. Most animals would have reacted, run away, made a sound, something. But this, it just watched, completely unbothered. This eerie act made the guy to believe it was an extraterrestrial entity. Creepy figure in Ohio. People talk about skinwalkers and strange creatures all the time. But what if one actually crossed the road in front of you? In a quiet Ohio town, a man parked near a field for a late-night break when he spotted something eerie. A pale figure standing by a tree. Its sunken eyes stared right at him. The second it realized it had been seen, it dropped to the ground and crawled away in an unnatural way. His dashcam caught a glimpse of the figure, showing its light-colored body with dark features. Some think it was the rake, others say it could be something else. Either way, that was one unforgettable sight. Unwanted yard visitor. Hearing noises in your yard at night is unsettling enough, but what if you finally check and see something you wish you hadn't? A man had been hearing strange sounds outside for days. One night, after being woken up again, he decided to investigate. Reports say he recorded a chilling video. As he turned on the light and looked outside, he spotted something pale moving through the bushes. It wasn't just a trick of the light. The figure was real, and as soon as it noticed him, it vanished into the darkness. It's one of those things you never really expect to happen until it does. Makes you think twice about stepping outside after dark, doesn't it? Something in tree. What would you do if you heard strange noises coming from your garden in the middle of the night? One man found himself in that exact situation. A loud creaking sound woke him up, and he couldn't ignore it. With a flashlight in hand, he stepped outside, hoping to find a simple explanation. But as he pointed the beam toward a tree, his breath caught in his throat. Something was up there, clinging to the branches. The dim light barely revealed its shape, but it wasn't anything he recognized. Whatever it was, it had been watching, hidden in the darkness. Unwelcome encounter. Late at night, a man was walking down a secluded path surrounded by tall, shadowy trees. Everything seemed normal, until it wasn't. Behind the last tree on the right, something stepped out. At first, it was hard to see, but once the footage was zoomed in, things got creepy. The figure had long, thin arms that held up its body, almost like it had no legs. Its dark, hollow eyes made it even more unsettling. The man didn't wait around. He got his footage and left fast, leaving whatever that thing was behind. Not of this world. Late at night, deep in the woods, someone saw a creature that didn't look like anything familiar. Its body was oddly shaped, almost like a cryptid, and the way it moved sent chills down their spine. It wasn't an animal, at least not one they could recognize. The darkness made it hard to see, but one thing was clear. This thing wasn't normal. Forest house horror. Two friends decided to explore an old, abandoned house hidden in the woods. The place was falling apart, and the air felt heavy, like something was watching them. As they made their way to the basement, one of them stepped onto the stairs. That's when a figure peeked out from the darkness. Their hearts nearly stopped. They didn't wait around to see what it was. They bolted out of there, convinced they had just come face to face with a Wendigo. Something stood still. Driving late at night can be unsettling, especially when the roads are empty and the world feels still. One driver had an experience they wouldn't forget. As he was driving on a quiet highway, something caught their eye. A figure standing motionless by the roadside. There was something off about it. The shape, the way it stood. It didn't seem quite right. A chill ran down the driver's spine. It felt like something out of legend, a presence that didn't belong. Without hesitating, they hit the gas, speeding away, leaving whatever it was behind in the darkness. But that eerie image stayed in their mind long after. Footsteps in the dark. In 2014, a man living near the woods heard footsteps outside. At first, he thought it might be an animal, but something felt different. The steps were slow, deliberate, like someone or something was lurking nearby. Curious but uneasy, he glanced out the window. That's when he saw it, a strange creature moving through the trees. It wasn't just passing by. It stopped now and then, almost as if it was watching the house. Holding his breath, he stayed completely still. Then, without warning, the creature disappeared into the darkness. Alien in the woods. Aliens. Just the thought of them is enough to make you look twice at the night sky. But what if one wasn't up there, but right in front of you? In an Australian forest, someone spotted something truly bizarre. It had an odd body, an unusual face, and glowing eyes that pierced through the dark. The figure didn't move. It just sat there like it belonged, making the whole scene feel unsettling. Could it have been an alien? Maybe something else entirely? Either way, it wasn't something you see every day. Skinwalker on road. Walking alone in the woods at night? Not the best idea. One man found that out the hard way when his camera flashlight landed on something in the middle of the trail. It was tall, thin, and way too still. No fur, no clothes. Just pale skin and an eerie, skeletal frame. His breath caught as he raised his camera. The thing didn't run. It didn't even react. Instead, it took one slow, deliberate step forward. However, the guy did run and saved himself from the strange creature. What was climbing? Pools at night have a weird vibe. The water is still, the lights flicker, and every little sound feels 10 times louder. But imagine seeing something climbing your house while you're out there. That's exactly what happened to one man. He spotted a figure creeping up his wall. Thin, twisted and moving in a way that just wasn't right. For a second, it looked like it was trying to get inside. Then, it stopped. It clung to the wall, locking eyes with him. The air went dead silent, and just like that, it was gone. Just an empty, eerie night, and the feeling that something had been there. Eyes in trees. If you've ever walked past trees at night, you might know that eerie feeling, like something is watching. Well, one man didn't just feel it, he saw it. High up in a tree, two glowing white eyes stared directly at him. At first, he thought his mind was playing tricks, but no, it was real. The body was hidden in the darkness, impossible to make out. It just sat there, unmoving, watching. The man looked away for just a second, but when he turned back, the figure was gone. It was like it vanished into the night. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. Blurry videos always raise questions, especially when they capture something unexpected. In one eerie clip, a pale, humanoid figure was seen crawling through a dense forest at night. At first, it looked somewhat human, but something about it seemed strange. Its body was too thin, its limbs had an odd shape, and its pale skin stood out in the darkness. The way it moved was unsettling. It didn't walk like a person. It crawled, slow and unnatural. The footage didn't give many answers, but whatever was out there definitely didn't look ordinary.